and welcome to the Raw Vegan Guru channel, where we are raising our health consciousness one meal at a time, one thought at a time, one action at a time. So I have a little funny story as I sit here in the sun in this beautiful field, absolutely flowing with the bees and the butterflies right now. It seems like they're feeding on these clove wildflowers for their nectar and their true connection. So I just made this video that I am remaking because I just recorded a video. It's about 45 minutes long, and I'm here in the sun and blessed and full of gratitude. So that's fine. But I couldn't see with the glare that the phone camera, what I'm using, was flipped around so that it was just my dialogue, my vocalization, and not an image. No imagery. Maybe that could have worked. I'm not technologically advanced, but maybe I could have put like a cool, like, psychedelic swirl as the image when you heard my words. But today's video is going to be a little different. I'm not going to be doing a recipe, though I have some on back order. I'll get to that ASAP. It's been a little while since I've posted a video, because you know what? The inner work, it's time taking, and it's puts me in a place where I feel the fluidity of something or I don't. And then I said to myself, is it time to make a video? And then I'd go to do it, and I was like, it's not time. So here we are. So today's video is actually going to be about the matrix. And I think that this is a very important subject. And I think that now is the timing for me to get into this issue, because it's becoming more and more prevalent. And the awareness that's being raised and the consciousness that is being able to separate and be lifted from the constructs that have been put upon humanity for thousands of years describes basically breaking away from this matrix. Now, maybe we should discuss what the matrix is. Jokingly, many years ago, before my real true awakening, I was always born with intuition. I was always aware of certain things. I just felt them. I guess it was just that psychic ability. Even though I couldn't, talk to ghosts or anything like that, so I never got onto, a TV show or was interviewed. But I always had that sixth sense, and I always knew if something was right or something was wrong, and I respected it and I listened. And so it was years ago that I had seen something about Keanu Reeves being questioned about the Matrix and his role in the Matrix. And he had stated it wasn't a movie, but it was a documentary. So at the time, that resonated with me. That stood out as like, that movie was crazy. That movie was talking about alternate realities or different levels of consciousness and perception. What does he mean that that's a documentary? And then 2020 happened, right? So then I knew. And I was like, hey, oh, I'm looking at my battery. And then I realized that the Matrix actually was what was being put upon us and what was happening. And so the Matrix, I'm just checking my battery here. What do we got? Tech support. All right. So The Matrix. Basically, it is a simulation. It is a false infrastructure. It is an energy field, a grid that has been put and placed over and among planet Earth's um, realm for thousands of years, as far as I can pick up on what I observe or my intuition says. And it's been a construct of control and a creation of falseness to keep us separated from true source, cosmic light, the absolute highest vibration of what we resonate or we absolutely are here as, and that frequency or that field is the love vibration, the light, love, light. And not always good to say love and light, because a lot of us in the community, the spiritual warriors will have that separation with the word "and" in between. We don't want to do that because they're not two separate things; they're actually one. So love, light. Who nailed that? Well, I'll tell you what. The Grateful Dead nailed that one. Bob Weir, he gave it justice. Turn on your love light. So that's what I've always done. So the Matrix is basically a false created movie. It's an illusion. It's a narrative, and it's a non-reality. It's a movie. It's a projection from basically foreign, extraterrestrial, you can say, outer worldly. These could be physical form beings, or they can just be using their mind, their consciousness, I should say, because they probably don't even have the realm of the mind, more the consciousness field, to keep us in a lower vibrational state. Now, by keeping us in a lower vibrational state, they're able to then, as they have for thousands of years, and you can go back way before the Bible, and all of this is pretty evident in our history. But what they've done is they've basically manipulated us into a false projected field that doesn't exist, so that they could have control of this planet and its inhabitants, and so that they could basically manipulate us for their different reasons and means. Now, you can go down the rabbit hole. You say rabbit hole, I should say, you can go down all the many different areas and pathways and facets of what this is all is saying. You have carnivore species, in subterranean places under earth, which are feeding on humans, being given to them as a part of sacrificial agreements from these demonic criminal elites. If you're wondering who the demonic criminal elites are, look at any soda pop company, look at any pharma, I won't finish that word because of censorship, but all the little orange bottles you get at like Walgreens and whatnot, and all of these that they into God source, a life field here. So all of these different controllers, manipulators, you see them on TV every day. Television kills your vision. All they are doing is controlling, manipulating, and altering your true purpose, which is here in basically our actual roles are to be in selflessness, love, compassion, unity, true communication, acceptance, non-judgment, all of the highest vibrations that just make you feel groovy. That's what we're really here to exist in. But they've taken us out of that with their matrix, with their falsehood. So look at like the medical situation. So for example, and this comes right into my health consciousness channel, because this is what I realized at a certain point in my life, and I changed for myself and for others. But they've come in and they've basically created a system, food supply, emotional trauma and tyranny, and chemical alterations put into our environment, poisoning the water, all of these different elements that then have come into this vessel, this physical, organic, cellular vessel, and it's made us sick. So we're sick. We have the heartburn, we have the diarrhea, we have the high blood pressure, we have the cholesterol, we have the cancer, we have the HIV. So we go to these medical professionals, these doctors who are just pharmaceutical representatives, and we say, I'm having this issue. So instead of them looking into what would have caused that issue, what my channel is all about, by taking action in our intake, in our consciousness. So instead, what they do is they basically respond with a chemical configuration which will lower your vibration, lower your ability to flourish and be healthy and connect to higher source, and make you physically sicker. Now, in turn with that, there is emotional sickness, because it's bumming you out and it's making you not feel so good, and it's blocking your different receptors and your different neurological functions from being with source, with self, with oneness. So they've got a whole system. You see all the commercials during, the football games. Drink your soda pop and your beer, and eat your processed GMO cancer chips. All of that is a part of the matrix. So why am I discussing the matrix today? I feel that now is the time more than ever in the health conscious community, in those who are asking questions and those who are seeking to better themselves. There are those who watch my videos perhaps for the first time, or subscribe to my channel, and they are resonating, or they are in alignment with what I am sharing and what I am talking about, or what I am doing here, because what I am doing and what you are doing in your own varying steps is you're taking action and more control of your life. And when you're doing that, you're starting to dissect and realize that all of the things that were normalized, or that were placed upon you, or were part of your daily life scheduling, or your mindset and acceptance, were actually things that were harming you. So they were things that were limiting you. They were things that were making you suffer. So then you're seeking outwardly for information, because something is not feeling in balance, or in a true fluidity or harmony within, and you know that there's something more. So you realize and you discover that your diet has a lot to do with your consciousness and your ability to ascend, or to break away, or to chip away from the blockages which have been a part of your construct your entire life. So my journey in rejuvenation and in inner love and non-judgment, closure, truth, downloading ability, and Christ consciousness, basically course of action through inner work, and this awakening, this different frequency and vibration that was higher than I'd ever experienced in my life before, all began through separating out of the dairy milk and the meats, and all of the the pharmaceutical, all those elements that were destroying me, the alcohol lowering my vibration and keeping me in a prison here on Mother Gaia. So I started with my fruit. because as I always say, start with the fruit. So that's what I began with. And of course, it was a journey. It didn't happen overnight. But as I began the raw journey, as I began to really dive into rejuvenation and regeneration and fasting and 100% raw intake existence, that's when all of the blockages, and that's when all of the truths and the information and the history and the cosmic knowledge or the cosmic information, the Akashics, all of these different elements started to basically be downloaded into me, not in a moment of asking, like, please download this information now, but having these different inner practice moments, like here I am meditating in this field and being in true moments with some sort of beautiful vibration that just makes me feel love. So that's when these downloads come, and that's when I knew the raw way was the way, because our cellular structure, being fed its absolute purposeful nutritional electric energy field, is what is allowing me to be that antenna and to operate in a proper position to be in my alignment. So that's when I started to lose and shed the judgments, the anger, the fears, the pain, yes, the trauma, the history, holding on to the anger, not appreciating self or others, all of these different aspects which were not giving me true happiness and fulfillment, started to dissipate. And as I continued forward in my raw journey, it has elevated me to a place where I am right now in this moment, that I am very blessed and filled with gratitude to be at, because I don't have the fear that's been put into the consciousness of man and is being basically shoved down our throats every day in the false narrative that's just being repeated to break you down. And since the Nazis had it going on with their MK Ultra, that never ended. That's continued to this day. MK Ultra, people putting that over their face. First of all, that's a demonic black magic spell action. So what you're doing is you're feeding these very negative forces with your energy field, like a battery. You're basically surrendering your God source and light to these very, very, very negative dark fields. And not to mention that it's causing your blood to be poisoned by not getting enough oxygen circulating throughout the body. It's weakening the immune system, so it's only going to make you unhealthy, less healthy, more receptive to any illness. It's going to basically shorten your lifespan. It's going to destroy your air intake, your ability to fully take in the oxygen, which is information, communication with higher source that was given to us through a clean free oxygen, basically electricity. So then that's going to be separating us from source, separating us from what we really are. So that whole thing, it is absolutely insane, because it has no scientific basis or backing. It's MK Ultra mind control, because all they're doing is repeatedly telling you it works, telling you to do it, telling you that it must be done. And you go, who's saying this? Well, Who's saying it now? I can tell you that much. It's demonic criminal elites. That's who's doing it. A fascist, communist. They take on different roles because the ego's driving and controlling them. But it really doesn't matter because the end game is they want to put you into submission to keep you in the lowest frequency and vibration so that they have control of you and your free will, and that you basically surrender your light. So, not having it. Absurd. And not to mention, it separates us from you and me because it's taking us away from the human experience. I don't know who the heck you are. I can see your eyes, thank goodness for that, because those are definitely portals into the soul. But what? So that's crazy. That's circus show stuff. That's the Matrix. So when you're watching the thing that kills your vision, known as the television, that is one of their main sources of propaganda and manipulation and simulation of a false narrative of something that doesn't exist and isn't real. So here's an example. In 2020, they said, they got the Chewbacca flu. It's killing everyone. Well, that wasn't true, but they kept on saying it enough that a majority of human beings and their state of limited consciousness took that in as a reality, and that reality never existed. So I won't get into the details of the false PCR test and 8.9% false positives. So that was all a part of the plan to basically deceive you and to manipulate data and to repeatedly bombard your energy field with a matrix simulation falsehood. So it was pretty apparent to me, but why? Because I had been eating the fruit way before that. I've been cleaning out with the herbs for quite some time, and I've been doing the fasting, and I've been doing the meditation. So then when the Matrix brought in one of its final, nails in the coffin to destroy and dismantle and take over man's consciousness and put, humanity into a state of enslavement through their fake projected movie, I was like, that's ridiculous. That's a circus show. So that's what being on the raw journey can allow. It can allow one to see the truth. It can allow one to basically dismantle the falseness of things that don't resonate in the higher vibrational field, which raw foods are at. So when we take in those raw foods and their highest electrical, energetic, hydration states, mineral, vitamin, life force ability, we are raising our antenna system, our chakra flow, all of the different harmonious fluidity states of this temple to be more knowing, to be more in truth of what is, and more in truth of why we're here or what this is about. The who am I? Why am I here? Well, those questions have always been raised, and they start to get answered more when we raise our vibration and our frequency. And a part of that is taking health into our own hands and beginning the road and the inception of health consciousness. Because when we start to question the system and we start to see the deception and we start to feel the trauma and the suffering that has been forced upon us in this fakery, that's when we begin to make changes in our thoughts, in our actions, and what we are seeking. And when we're seeking truth, or we're seeking fulfillment, or we're seeking love, or we're seeking feeling groovy, we're starting to leave the matrix construct. We're starting to say herbs are medicine, not synthetic chemicals. We're beginning to say fruit hydrates my body, not corn syrup and contaminated water. When we start to raise ourselves and we start to align into it all, fruit makes sense because it is the actual real food that was placed here on earth for us to benefit from, stay in a highest place of health, and to not worry about all of these afflictions and these limitations and these suffering trauma body states that man's matrix manipulation has put upon us with its processed foods, or its murder of living beings, or its colorings and its insecticides, and all of these corporate and criminal and negative accepted positional people that have made it seem normalized. So now that the matrix is starting to dismantle itself, and it's starting to dissolve, and it's starting to collapse, only because it's false. So the light could only be kept out of the darkness for so long. But the light will always shine, and the truth will always prevail, and it's just always a matter of time. Yeah, I guess it took a couple thousand years. That was a part of the plan. But here we are now, when we are seeing things for what they are. You're watching a puppet show on TV. The CCP clone CGI stolen, ballot box, looks like a goddamn scary Ken Barbie doll to me. But that dude and all of those in the realm of the manipulation and the control and the overtake of our system to try to destroy our free will and our ability to be one community and to work together and to share, and all of the abundance of this planet that we have in food source and clean air and water, all of that is being controlled, being destroyed, and being manipulated so that we will not be able to come together. So they think. So that is why the matrix is dissolving, because it can't sustain itself. And as you see, it's not making any sense. And when they say, let's go to war, and you realize that that's absolutely contrived and created with an agenda for control and depopulation and resource theft, you're saying to yourself, you know what? We can do this together. We can absolutely coexist. We can help each other. We can communicate. We don't need to go to war. So what I just said was something that's happening to a lot of people. So you know what that is? That's starting to leave the matrix. So I could probably talk about this for a long time. And maybe I'll do another video on the matrix and how it is going to not be able to move forward or gain the momentum that it has in the past, because it's so obviously wrong. And you know when something in your heart is wrong because it's not right. And you know that judging somebody is absolutely ridiculous, because you don't like to be judged. And you have your reasons for what you've done or what you feel. So who are you to put that upon someone else? It doesn't make any sense. The Matrix is a fake simulation, a false narrative, and an absolute structure of mind control. And you have been in it your entire life. And man's history has been a reflection of it as well. So as they take down the statues to manipulate and control history and a narrative, and they get into the school systems and they try to basically program and manipulate and control our children, and they try to tell you that chemical injected chickens with 3 heads diseased is a food source. All of this is going to start to not make any sense if it has not already. So the Matrix is dissolving by lifting the veils within. And we begin to lift those veils when we begin to take health into our own hands, when we begin to take reality into our truths. Because we know that love is the answer, not division and divide. There are no political parties. There are humans. And it is one consciousness. It is Christ consciousness. It is a love, light, light, love. So the Matrix is everything that the truth is not. And you will start to see more of what is real as you chip away at the layers that have been put upon you unconsciously and consciously through your life in the process of detoxification, rejuvenation, regeneration, hydration, the acts of fasting, meditation, yoga, deep breathing, sun gazing, sun bathing. I could go on forever on that list. Being in nature, grounding. This will begin our real world, our reality. The new earth is not the old one. So I hope that this video helped you today and gave you a little bit of a clarification about this whole Matrix thing, and why it is not just a movie, but it is a alarm bell hot subject topic here to realize and discuss with others as it is breaking down. Because we are coming together as one. It might be a slow process. I have full faith that this will end in pure love consciousness. And that's all I know. By the way, I find it very interesting